Kia ora Nici, nau mai, haere mai, welcome to our place.
Hello, lovely to meet you.
Ko hure koe te ao katoa, you've been all around the world in the world kitchen and now you're finally in our kitchen.
It's a pleasure.
But I believe you're going to take us around the world with our menu today.
Yeah, I want to make something from Vietnam, a beautiful caramelised pork Claypot, and it's just all syrupy, soft melting bits of pork and a little bit of citrus in there, and we'll have that with some rice and coleslaw. Super simple, and the ingredients are always really accessible from supermarkets and that. The other dish that I wanted to prepare was also really simple, and that's some prawn and pea fritters. And that's, again, got some lovely citrusy notes of lime and lemons in there.
Ka rawe hoa, I am very excited. This sounds really good.
So the first thing we need to do is start to get some flavours and that sort of thing into our pork and onions. So I might get you on the old onions, actually, Stacey. So most people, when they chop an onion, tend to chop it sort of across like this. But if you do it from top to bottom, like this, and you know what happens?
What?
It cooks 3 times as fast, which I think is quite a cunning little thing to know.
Aye.
So I'm using these lovely pork strips here, and they're really, you know, they're easy to find at a supermarket. They're pretty economical, I think, too. If they've got little bits of bone in them, just toss that in the clay pot as well, because I think food cooked around the bone tastes really delicious.
Ka whai tāwara ne.
So we can get this all in our bowl.
Hanamitia, and what else have we got going
Yeah,
in
we've got some fish sauce here, which means that we don't even need to put any salt. 2 tablespoons of this in here. And pepper goes in here now as well, so a couple of decent pinches. We want that really lovely heat that pepper gives. It's a different heat to chilli. And garlic.
He kai whakauru anō, and is there another ingredient?
Yeah, last one is the oil. So we'll throw some oil in there, and look, it's much better to put the oil in with the ingredients than put it in the pan. You just tend to, in your life, believe it or not, use less if you do it that way. If you're always throwing it in the pan, I think you're always a little bit more generous with it, so that's the best way to do it.
He rautaki pai, that's a good plan.
Yeah. And, you know, at this stage you could put it straight into your casserole dish or your clay pot and cook it, but by frying it and bringing it up to heat first, believe it or not, you cut out, you know, maybe 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes off the overall cooking time. Right, in it goes. It's really good not to fiddle around too much in the pan at this stage. We want to get some colour on the onions and the pork. So you can just leave it and forget about it, and we'll grab our other ingredients.
Okay.
Brown sugar,
right,
which is going to help with our caramelising, and our soy sauce. So once I'm sort of happy that there might be a bit of colour on here, should we test it?
Ai, kia kaha.
You see how some of that's got little brown bits on it? Look at that. So then you can start sort of tossing it around. Fantastic.
Katahi te kakara, and it smells amazing.
I know, yeah. Right, 1/4 cup of this or thereabouts. That's the soy sauce, and then we've got 2 tablespoons of brown sugar here.
Me mātua whai te huka parauri ne, you have to have brown sugar because that's the flavour.
It's got that sort of slightly caramelised flavour already, and remember, we're after a caramelised pork clay pot, so anything we can do to help that, that's a good thing. Give this a bit of a stir around. You can see how that's already starting to really caramelise.
Kua reka ke te ahua, and it's already looking amazing.
Oh, isn't it? So we're ready to put it in the clay pot now.
Oh, ka rawe.
This one's held together with wire, so hopefully it won't break. So I'm just going to pour this in here. Look at all that syrup already.
No.
Do you like pork?
I love pork. And more waiwai ana te waha. I'm actually dribbling a little bit over here.
Great. This is what we like. This dish is so versatile that, you know, you could use chicken for this. You could put carrots, kumara, chopped up potatoes. Anything goes in a clay pot as far as I'm concerned. I've given us the full pork experience, but you could add whatever you like. Last 2 ingredients, some limes. I'll get you to squeeze half a lime. If limes are too expensive, just use lemons. It's totally okay. In Vietnamese cuisine, you've always got sweet and salty. So we've got our fish sauce, we've got our brown sugar for those 2 things, and then we've got the citrus and also that heated note, if you like, which is usually chilli or black pepper. We've done black pepper. That looks fantastic. And look, now I'm just going to top it up. The recipe calls for 1/4 cup of water, but really we're looking for it to come about halfway up the level of the meat or the vegetables or whatever you've got in here. So that looks pretty good. Lid goes on. Chuck it in the oven.
And how long is it going in for?
It's going in for about 35 to 40 minutes. But I like to check it halfway through, maybe turn it a little bit, and you've got this oven within an oven, so it does cook quite quickly and it really starts to tenderise that pork, and you want it to go even more syrupy than it currently is, and it'll darken a little bit, and then delicious.
Me ua katatari. Oh, my goodness.
Right, we're gonna cook some rice. Cup of rice and then twice as much water as you've got rice. And a really big pinch of salt. Lid on, chuck it on there.
Ka pai.
We're using the absorption method, so we need to bring it to the boil and then take it right down to just a tiny little simmer. Needs about 12-15 minutes.
Sust.
Fantastic. Should we get on with our fritters?
Rawa kia au, sounds good to me.
So we've got pea and prawn fritters, two of my favourite flavours. I just absolutely love them.
Taua, I love.
Yeah.
Like, why are peas so underrated? They're the best thing ever. And when I didn't really like kaimoana, this was my go-to.
Really? So
Yeah.
you loved prawns, but not so keen on some of the others?
Oh, not the things that tasted too much like,
Yeah.
you know, oysters. But we're getting there.
Oh,
Yeah,
really? Okay,
change, yeah.
well, you're doing better than me. I only like an oyster when it's encased in batter.
Oh.
All right, I've got frozen prawns here that have thawed out and they're raw.
Kare hoki he hiku and no little tail on them.
No little tails, and we've got some peas. And what I'm going to get you to do is a really fun job of squishing them up in your hands. You can feel, I want you to channel your inner 3-year-old.
He mahi pā reka reka, I love this.
It's kind of fun. Hey, I'm just going to chop these prawns up so that they're tiny little bits and so that they almost match our pea size. And I've got about 250 grams of prawns here as well, just so you know.
He peke, ne? It's a bag of...
Yeah, small bag.
Yeah, ka pai.
Now, how good are you at separating eggs?
Tōna pai nei.
Oh, come on.
It usually happens.
Great, I love it. 2 of those, please, madam. I'm going to get on to just chopping up a couple of spring onions, which we need in our fritters as well.
Okay.
Excellent. And then you can just whip those up into a lovely light frenzy.
Wene?
So I'm just putting the zest of 1 lemon in here too, which just gives it that beautiful flavour with the prawns. Lemons, prawns, yum yum. Lovely big pinch of salt in here, about half a teaspoon of that going in. 2 tablespoons of flour in here as well, just ordinary flour.
How do you think me tatari? You don't have to sift it?
No, look, and all that sort of stuff, it's just another dish to wash.
Yeah. Kua pai e hoa? Is this looking good?
That's looking great. A nice stiff whip is what we're after. So I'm mixing up our egg yolks in here, which looks a bit claggy, I know, but bear with me.
Ka we maharahara, don't freak out at this point.
Do not freak out. And look how beautiful it looks. Doesn't that look lovely?
Aye.
Okay, so we're just wanting to fold that into our egg whites, not losing too much of that lovely air that you've so lovingly tipped into there. Okay, ready to cook?
Koeri teke. Yes, I think we're all ready. How tīwhiri e hoa? What are your little tips on this?
Little tips are to use a sizable spoon and not too big that they're too awkward to turn over. Plenty of oil because I think a fritter needs to be golden and a bit crunchy and a little bit oily. And don't crowd the pan, whatever you do, she says, thinking about putting just 1 more in there. And the other key is that once people flip them over, oh, this kills me when I see people doing this, they start going, Yeah, like they'll squish them down. What is that about? You've just whipped all that beautiful air. You want them light and fluffy, and you want to be sort of killing the poor thing. So just, again, patience.
Waiho.
So while I cook these, do you want to make a lovely little dressing for them?
Tātaku mahi, what am I doing here?
Look, these fritters go beautifully with this sort of yogurty, minty dressing. So about half a cup of yogurt, splash of olive oil, some lovely lemon juice in there, nice big pinch of salt, and then we're going to put a whole handful of sort of mint in there.
Right.
And the trick here is if you just chop that up and throw it in your dressing, you'll get a mild mint flavour. But if you do that...
Patsua. Smack it.
Smack it. And straight away what you get is all those cells have burst their flavour out. So you can tear that up or chop it up, your choice. And then you could put a little bit of lime in there as well. Again, just get that citrus thing going on.
How would you serve this up?
I would serve it on a beautiful big platter with some of our dressing on the side. And the clay pot, what I would do is just serve it in its beautiful dish. If that's a casserole dish, that's fine, and serve that at the table with your pile of beautiful rice. I like to serve this with a lovely coleslaw, and I just use red cabbage here. I slice it really fine with a mandolin, and I've got some red chilies here, take the seeds out of those. Lastly, nice little squeeze of lemon or lime, and you're done.
Hauwe, ka tahi te hākari. That is such a beautiful feast. My mouth is watering. So fluffy. That's such a good pea to prawn ratio.
Yeah, lots of peas, lots of prawns crammed in there, not lots of boring old batter in there, but loads of the great filling. And that minty dressing is good, huh?
Parahi ki au nei, perfect.
And yeah, really easy to have prawns and peas in the freezer. Any old time you can just whip these up. You know, takes 10 minutes.
Yum.
Prawns, not so bad.
Massive tick. And we still have another course.
Yes, come on over to Vietnam.
Oh, yum. It smells amazing.
Yeah.
He kai mate mata, it looks amazing.
It's syrupy, and you've got salad, you've got rice, you've got some bean sprouts there. And that all provides texture and crunch as well as all of sort of vitamins and minerals that you need so that you're not just eating a big plate full of pork.
What a bonus.
Fantastic.
Tēnā rau atu koe, thank you so much.
Oh, my absolute pleasure.
E nā ngā hua kua puta I tēnei rā e hoa, you've given me so many good tips, great go-to dishes, and a trip to Vietnam.
Great, well, happy travelling.
Yeah.